Hello and welcome to A Few Minutes with the Mayor from Eliza Pool Park in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hello and welcome. My name is Damian Graham. I'm with the City of Raleigh, and this, of course, is Mayor Nancy McFarland.
How you doing?
Thank you so much for taking time to be
Sure.
with us. So much to talk about. Things are changing all the time. Even though
You're
the
right.
summer is coming, we're not slowing down a bit. Specifically, just literally a few hours ago, we cut ground or did the shovels for the grand opening of the beginning of the new Oak City Center, which is literally
Right.
about 2 blocks from where we're standing right now. Tell us about what that is.
It's incredible. You know, it's a partnership with us and Wake County, and it is a one-stop shop. It is for people that are experiencing homelessness or on the verge of experiencing homelessness. And what we've really found is that there are so many different services that people need. You know, sometimes it's obviously it's housing, but sometimes it's medical issues, or sometimes it's substance, or it's you know, they're in a traumatic situation. There's just so many different pieces of it, or maybe they need help getting food. So this will centralize all of those services, so you won't have to go to different county, you know, agencies or anything to really get those things you need. So, but it'll also have, you know, showers, and it'll have, you know, facilities like that. It has a play area for kids. And it's right next door to the Wilmington facility, which is primarily for men. So it just is such a great addition. It's near downtown Raleigh, so it's an event for the county too.
And it's so needed, and it's on the transit line, so
It is,
convenient
Right.
in that aspect. And so also, approximate to where we are right now, which I should say is Eliza Pool Park, you can see the sign behind us, is the new Pathways Center, the newly renovated New Energy. Tell us about what's going on there.
I'm very excited about that. This is right there on South Wilmington Street, and it is a building that we have totally renovated, and we started off with this program called IT Beginnings, and the whole purpose of it is to get people into the job market. And we really started focusing on sort of that 17 to 25-year-old, but it's obviously open to anybody. So we partnered when we started with Wake Tech and with Capital Area Workforce Development and the city's IT department, and we developed a course that's really IT Beginnings. It is for people that have no experience with any sort of technology, because, you know, you have to know how to run a computer to run a cash register. I mean, it is very fundamental. So that was our first class, but even more importantly, you know, Capital Area comes in and they teach soft skills. You know, they teach how to interview and how to dress for your interview, and all of those really important things. They're just as much a part of getting a job as other. And then now we're bringing in private partners to work on things such as mentorships and offer internships and, you know, sort of the rehearsal interviews and those kinds of things. Wake Tech is also working with us to provide that pathways following that. So if you take that class and you want to go on, then that opens you up to a pathway into Wake Tech along different things. And there are different funding opportunities. You know, Capital Area has money for childcare. They have money for transportation. So there's a lot of support around it, and Wake Tech's being a great partner too. And we also moved 2 other city programs in there. We moved our summer youth employment program into the building, and we also moved a program called Youth Build. And Youth Build is very exciting, especially in this market, because you will learn the job skills that you need to be able to work in construction. And if you need to get a GED, that's offered there too. We partner with Habitat for Humanity, and a lot of the work that they do in construction is on the Habitat houses, which is great for the city and the affordable housing issues that we're facing. So it's a really, really good program. And as somebody that's talked to construction companies, they're really having a hard time finding skilled labor right now. So it's going to work nicely.
Well, both projects are obviously so important to our community, but particularly the Pathways in the sense of it provides skills that are needed with technology and with the construction. Well, it happens to be the hottest day of the year. We picked this perfectly. So if you don't mind, let's go sit by the gazebo and catch up on a few more things.
Great, thanks.
Well, Mayor, this is much better. There's a
little shade
and a tiny bit of breeze, very tiny little bit of breeze. So we've talked about a couple different investments in the city that are well underway. Another one that a lot of folks are excited about is the Southeast Raleigh YMCA. Can you tell us about what's going on there?
It's called the Southeast Raleigh Promise Project, and it's a great, again, collaboration. The Y is building a YMCA. They're working with Wake County to build a school. We are building some affordable and mixed income housing there. They're also they've got more space, and they're still thinking about, is it going to be retail? You know, they really want to have a lot of options there to serve that community. It's right on Rock Quarry Road and 440.
Okay.
And it's, you know, we're all very, very excited about it. I mean, just the fact that every child that goes to that elementary school will learn how to swim. I mean, think about how valuable that is, especially in the summer. We hear more and more of accidents. And, but it's also great to see all the partnerships that are coming together on that. And, you know, somebody said something to me about, well, you know, it's a project with a school, you don't build schools. No, we don't build schools, but we do build community. And that's when we really look for all of our community partners to come together. And it's going to be a great asset for that part of town.
Absolutely. So, well, also I should mention that you and the council recently just passed a budget. Speaking of important investments in the city. So what are some of the highlights that folks would recognize, or some of the priorities for this year's budget?
Okay, it's about that thick, but I'll try. I'll try to narrow it down. Well, I think one of our biggest priorities is transportation and transit. And last fall, the voters approved a $209 million bond. And what that really means is they've given us permission to issue bonds as we get ready to do all of those different projects. But as we all know, it's primarily road projects and bridges and things like that in it. And we all know that we need a lot of work on our roads. So we're going to be spending about $109 million just this year. In this year's budget, it's allocated. You know, I know a lot of people get really frustrated with the conditions of the roads in Raleigh. Certainly a lot of our weather events have made it worse. But I also think people don't understand that a lot of our primary roads, think of anything that's a big corridor, you know, in and out, whether it's Glenwood or Capitol or even Falls of the News, they're state-owned roads and state-maintained roads. So Wade Avenue, a lot of those are all, the state is in charge of fixing them. And so it really is, we are working very hard on our city roads, and we're working very hard with the state to make them understand the condition of their roads that affects the condition of the roads in Raleigh, but you know, they're fixing roads all over the whole state. So, but we do have a good working relationship with them, and we're just
absolutely. So we're taking care of our own and doing the best we can to make sure that the state take care. And they've got priorities obviously across the entire state. So that's
we do. And also, you know, we also are moving forward with the Wake County Transit referendum, and so in this budget, you know, we are buying buses to expand that. We're also working very hard to get more shelters and bus benches and
basic amenities.
Yes, because you know, nobody wants to ride the bus. You have to stand in the rain and wait for it, and that's often a longer process than people think, especially for the shelters, because again, we have to go through the state, and there's a lot of ADA requirements. So then all the sidewalks have to be fixed around them. So sometimes it's just getting through the engineering, but we are very dedicated to moving that forward. You know, along that is a lot of infrastructure. Certainly, people have seen a lot of our projects going on with big, whether it's sewer pipes or stormwater pipes or just upgrading our capacity. And we're always trying to keep ahead of pipes before they break. You know, we've got terracotta pipes in town. Actually, we've got some pipes that are 100 and some years old that are in better shape than some of the.
That's right.
It's amazing. Yeah. So we're really we're working very, very hard to scope those pipes and trying to keep ahead of any breaks or any problems that would occur to the city. One thing we did, which is not, you know, flashy and you're never going to hear about it, but we put generators throughout the city, throughout the water system. We have pump stations that keep water flowing, and so we put backup generators on all those pump stations. So when you lose power, we know how much fun it is to be without power for a few days. You're always going to have water.
That's right.
And that was a priority for us. And that's one of those things that we do and spend money on, but people don't really realize, but it's important to you.
Well, and particularly as we head into hurricane season,
Right.
and it's not uncommon for power to get knocked out in certain portions of the city for, as you said, for a couple of
Right.
days, and so having water access
It's huge.
is everything.
It's huge. Well, so, we are growing a lot, and so we are adding to our planning department and I think development services.
Right.
And I think a lot of people think of that as just, a big development coming in, but it's even, you may be putting an addition on your house, or you may be building a house. You still have to go through that development services process. So we really are trying to make that easier for people, more understandable. I think that as we grow more, and obviously it's important that we continue to involve everybody in the process so that we maintain the character
Right.
of the city. So, even focusing more on communications from that department, whether it's to the citizens in general, so people have a better idea of what's going on and they have more opportunity for input, or whether it's with people in the development community, so they have predictability, which is really why we did the UDO, so that the standards will be
UDO
set.
is
Unified Development Ordinance.
thank you.
So it was a few years ago, we looked at the whole city and we remapped it. We changed our code so things were, there was a uniformity to how things were defined. And you knew if this piece of property was zoned, R6, exactly what could be built there. If this was zoned, neighborhood mixed use 3. So not only did the person buying the property, but the people around the property knew what to expect. And it's that kind of predictability that's really important to everybody. So there's there's a lot going on, but this year's budget was, it was good. And I think it's that we do take our responsibility for those things that you don't see but are really important to your life very seriously.
Well, I should say that the budget is available on our website if anyone
It
wants
is.
to drill through that giant packet. But it sounds like some smart strategic decisions were made in regard to that budget this year.
Right. We made some more investments in fire and police, to equipment, to all kinds of things. And we're putting Wi-Fi in our community centers. We have it in a few. We're getting ready to do 11 more, and then eventually we're going to be doing the rest of them. But I think that's going to be a great boon for those community centers.
Yeah, again, a nice asset for our community.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor, it is hot, so we won't keep you too long.
Okay,
but,
that's good.
Thank you for taking time out
Sure.
of your busy schedule. And
Sure.
appreciate you being
Always
here.
happy to talk.
Appreciate you being here to
Sure.
see us.
Thanks. Digital opportunities, I hope, and more technology, and see how it grows.
There's something on my neck. I gotta stop. I'm sorry.
That was awesome. Sorry.
It was just crawling all on me. I'm holding, but I just can't. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mayor.
It's okay. No, it's all good.
Hello, and welcome to A Few Minutes from the Mayor. That's not the words. Let me try that again.